So, anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Because I'd like to know my participants. So, okay. Um, Hi, Nancy Osei. Hello, Nancy. Please, am I audible? Hello. Can anybody confirm if I'm audible?
Yes, yes, Fortune, you're audible.
Thank you very much. Okay, Nancy. Yeah, could you do a bit of an introduction of yourself? Are you able to speak, Nancy? Okay. Whilst Nancy is getting ready, how about Emmanuel? Oh, okay,
Yes,
sure,
good
Nancy, noted.
evening.
Hi, Emmanuel. Please, a little bit of yourself and maybe where you are joining in from.
Yes, please. My name is Emmanuel Nkrumah from KNUST. I'm a member of the Career Guide Subcommittee.
Oh, okay. Great to have you, Emmanuel. Okay, Nancy says she's going to type. That's fine. That's completely fine. Okay, so I think we can start up for now and then give room for others to join in as we go on. All right. So once again, my name is Fortune Klabi. Um, there was supposed to be a different person to moderate today's session, but unfortunately he couldn't join in. So I'm filling in for him, and I'm glad to be here today to represent today's session. So Um, this month, we've been embarking on workshop programs. We've had several workshops before today, and today we have one to be handled by Dr. Maria. So, without much ado, first of all, I'll talk about um, Dr. Maria, and then I'll give her the opportunity to take the podium to tell us what she has for us today. So, Dr. Maria Aluko is a compassionate driven healthcare professional with a strong foundation in medicine, biochemistry, and healthcare management. So, with clinical experience in anesthesia, pediatrics, obstetrics, and internal medicine, she has developed a well rounded understanding of patient care across multiple specialties. Dr. Maria is a natural leader, having served as the campus director for the United Nations Millennium Fellowship, UG cohort, vice president of the University of Ghana International Medical Students Association, and held various leadership roles during her medical training. She is passionate about improving healthcare delivery and has a proven track record in organizing community-based health education initiatives, including peer training programs in reproductive health and HIV/AIDS awareness. With a commitment to service and innovation, Dr. Maria aims to contribute to healthcare systems that prioritize efficiency, equity, and positive patient outcomes. She is an ardent event planner, vocalist, songwriter, and Children and Youth Minister. She's happily married and lives with her husband in the United Kingdom, where they are raising their family. Dr. Maria, we are so privileged to have you with us today. And personally, I'm really excited for what you have for us today. So, sneak peek into today's program, there would be a gift for two participants. That's two of the most active participants. So please make the most of this opportunity. Try as much as possible to be um, active. The whole session is going to be a very interactive session as much as possible. So please try as much as possible to be active where possible. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave it in the chat or raise up your hand, and then we'll give you the opportunity to ask your questions. Yeah. So please, Dr. Maria, I don't want to take so much of the time. Please, we are ready for what you have for us today. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fortune Klabi. Give me a minute to share my screen. Can you hear me
Sure.
well?
Yes, please. I can hear you loud and clear.
Very audible.
Yes, please.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, please. I can see your screen.
Right. And then into this in slideshow mode. Give me a few minutes. Sorry, a little technical issue. All right. Thank you. Good evening once again. Can you see my screen?
Yes, please,
Hello.
Doc. We can see your screen. And good
Wondering how
evening
I'm
to
gonna
you
do
too.
this. Yes, I want to be able to read the messages in the chat box. Yeah. So, but before we begin, thank you once again for giving me the opportunity. I'd like to thank the Society of Petroleum Engineers for giving me the opportunity to speak today. Right. SPE Ghana, it's such a privilege. When one of you reached out to me, I was like, okay. I felt very privileged, and I'm really happy that I'm here today to talk to you about this time management and also to learn from you, because no man is an island. So I believe I'm going to be learning from the rest of yeah. Okay. So a few ground rules before we start. Kindly turn off your video camera. Kindly turn off your microphones. Okay, so we don't have interference, there's no distraction. And like the host already said, I like this to be a very interactive session. Should be a dialogue, not a monologue. So I'm going to be asking a lot of questions. I like asking questions. I think the teacher in me likes to ask questions. So I'll be asking questions, and at the end of the day, we're going to be giving gifts to two of the most active participants. It's a very juicy gift, right? So I'm asking you questions, and I'm going to be looking at, so I have another device that I'm trying to connect to right now. So as I'm asking you the questions in real time, I'm looking out for the answers so that we can, engage, with one another, and so that I can learn from you also, right? We're gonna have one break. We're gonna have one break because I believe it's going to be good for us to, be stretched, get some water, use the restroom and all of that. Before we begin, so I'm going to be talking about time management, like you already know. Before we begin, we are going to, yeah. So I'd like to meet you. If you know you're here. So we've already started the competition for the gift. If you know you want to stand the chance of winning the prize today, please, you need to hit the ground running now. So I'd like to know your name, what you do, and then where you are joining us from. Hello, Akiko Dokas. You're on. I can see you. Okay, it's fine. Yes. I'd like to know your name, what you do, and then where you are joining us from. I'll start. And then the rest of you, please just comment in the chat box. I've seen Nancy Osei. My name is Maria Aluko. Like I mentioned, I'm a medical doctor by profession.
Anu has a webinar today.
Please, yes, please kindly mute yourselves. Yes, turn off your video cameras and turn off your microphones. Thank you. So my name is Maria Aluko. I'm a medical doctor and I'm joining you from the United Kingdom. So please introduce yourselves. I'm waiting to read from you before we continue. So at least let me read from 5 people before we continue. Right. Nancy Osei, where are you joining us from and what do you do? Hi, Deborah Onofadeji, joining from Nigeria. Thank you for joining us. Victoria Lawyer, joining from Nigeria. Thank you for joining us. Some more people and then we would move on. Let us know where you're joining us from. Akiko Dokas, I'm a teacher joining from Nigeria. Thank you very much, Mrs. Akiko. All right. One more person. Gracie, information technology specialist joining from Nigeria. Where are my Ghanaian friends? Okay, petroleum engineering student from KNUST. Asha joining from Nigeria. Okay, all right. So facilitator, I hope you're taking note of the people that are commenting because we have a gift for the most active participants. All right, so let's get into it. So this is the overview. You know, we're going to look at the introduction, what it is to what is time management, what is it not? You know, why do we have to learn about time management? What are the components of time management? You know, what are the tools for effective time management? Caleb, data analyst from the United Kingdom, thank you for joining us. And then we'll look at the time management techniques. Okay, I'll bring it home. We'll talk touch a bit on procrastination, things to note, and then I'll mention a few books on time management. We'll conclude, then we'll have our questions. Fortune Klabi, thank you for joining us from Ghana. So this is by way of introduction. There's a picture here, right? I don't know if you guys can see it on your screen, but what do you see in this images? There are 2 different pictures on my screen right now. So what do you see? Kindly put in your answers in the chat box because I'm waiting to read from you. Nancy says she sees a clock. Okay, what's happening to the clock? You're right, there's a clock. What's happening to the clock? Is it static? Is it being moved? What's happening to the clock? Guys, we need to, when you answer my question, then I move to the next page. I go to the next slide. Someone is trying to push the clock hand. Awesome, Victoria, thank you. A man filling a sand glass. Yes, that's true. A lady trying to backward the clock. Thank you very much, Mrs. Akiko. So yes, like you guys have said, the very first picture on the left shows a man trying to add sand to the sands of time. Then the other one shows a lady trying to push. She's actually trying to push back the hand of time. Can you imagine? Anyway, so yes, picture on the left shows a man trying to add to the sands of time. And then the other picture shows a lady trying to push back the hands of time. Why are they doing this? If you were in their shoes, why would you be doing this? Or why do you think they are doing this? Why do you want to add to the sands of time? Why do you want to add more time to your time? And why do you want to push back the hands of time? Why do we want to do this? A few comments, a few responses, and I'm going to move. Why are they doing this, guys? 1 comment, 1 or 2 people to respond, and then we're going to move. Why do we think they're doing this? Because I would want time to wait for me. Okay, well, fair point. Yes, maybe they are late on a deadline. Very true. Thank you very much. Well, yes, you guys are very correct, right? So there are many reasons why they could be doing this, right? But one of the main reasons could be because they have the desire to have more time, right? So the man probably feels like, 24 hours is not enough, and I need more time. So he's trying to add more to his 24 hours, right? And the other lady feels like the time is not enough, so she's also trying to push back the hand of time. So number 1, the desire to have more time. Number 2, the limitation with time could be one of the reasons why you're doing that. You know, sometimes we have exams to write, and we have tests to prepare for. Maybe you're in school, you have a dissertation, you're trying to submit, there's a deadline, there's a deliverable to complete. For whatever reason whatsoever, you have scripts to mark, you know, you have books, sections of your textbooks to read, and you are running out of time. So you would wish you had the chance, like those two people, to add to the sands of time or to push back the hands of time, right? But I like to tell you that time, like all the other resources, is limited. It is non-renewable and it is fixed. Okay, so we have renewable and non-renewable, sources of energy, right? But time is fixed, so you cannot add to the time, you cannot subtract from time, and everybody has the same amount of time every day. Everyone is given the same amount of time every day. So the main problem is not with us having too little time or with us needing more time, but the main problem is actually with us knowing how to manage this very limited resource called time. Okay, so this brings me to my next question, which is, what comes to mind when you think about time management? When someone says, we're going to be talking about time management today, what do you think they're talking about? Just one word, could be a phrase, could be a sentence. What comes to mind when you think about time management? Anybody? Remember, we are in the running for some gifts. As you ask the questions, you respond, and then we move. Okay. Project comes to mind. Okay. Thank you, Caleb. Using my time well. Yes. Optimization. Yes. Thank you very much. Very true. You're all correct. So when we talk about time management, it's two different words. We have time and we have management. So according to Cambridge Dictionary, time management is the practice of using the time that you have available in a useful and effective way. Thank you, Gracie. Right. So there are a few words I want you to take note of. So the time you have, making use of it in a useful and effective way, the time that is available to you, right? So it means that the time available to Maria, obviously we have 24 hours a day, but the time available to Maria to do some productive work, maybe 2 hours a day for maybe this week, and the time available to maybe Dorcas, maybe 4 hours. But how we make the most of the time that is what time management is about. So how you're using the time that is available to you in a very useful and effective way is time management. So University of Lincoln defines it as your ability to plan ahead, prioritize, and then avoid procrastination. Okay. So your goal is not to cram so many things into one day, right? But your goal is to make use of the time you have to achieve your goals. So now we're talking about what time management is, using the time available. And I said the time available, it differs for different people, right? The time available differs. Time available, differs for different people per time, right? So that, and how you use it is what time management is about. How effectively you're able to use it, how well you're able to manage it is what time management is about. So what is it not, right? Or what things do not constitute time management? So you juggling so many tasks, that is not time management. You getting things done quickly, that is not time management. It's not about you being very busy, cramming too many activities in your day. That is not time management. Because sometimes we feel like when we are busy, there's this assumption that being busy is synonymous with, using your time well, right? But that is not the truth. It's just not the truth. You can be busy about the wrong things, but time management is about you using that time, that limited time. If it's 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours a day, a week, using that time that's available, using it well, right? It's about planning, prioritizing, and getting the most important task. Emphasis on most important task done daily. So if you look at these two pictures, right, in the very first one, there's a point A, and there's a point B. Two different people are trying to get from point A to point B. The second person on the second line, right, he has a very smooth ride. The person up there, he has a very tortuous, winding, long ride, but he still gets to the end. So the second line, the person has been able to manage his time well. That's why he's able to get to point B in a short time. The other person, didn't manage his time well. I mean, there are a lot of reasons why this could have happened. But one of the reasons is because they probably did not manage his time well. So he had to go through a very long and winding round before he finally got to point B. So the main idea is not just that we go with the flow, right? It's about us taking a scientific approach, like sitting down, planning. You're not just going with the flow. No, you are in control of your time. You are planning the things well. You're taking a almost scientific approach to meeting your goals, right? So why do we need to learn about time management? I believe over here we have students, we have professionals, maybe teachers, we have engineers in the making, engineers, lawyers. So why do you think, just one reason why you think you need to learn about time management? Okay, Victoria says it helps you to do the most important tasks daily. Nancy says it helps you to plan well. Thank you. Yes. So I put some important reasons, together, some reasons why we need to learn about time management. So as a student, for the students here, it helps you stay organized during the semester, right? It helps you meet your submission deadlines. There are always deadlines. Maybe you're doing a project or you have an assignment, or you have to just trying to find how you're going to balance, you're trying to find out you balance your social life with your academics, and you have deadlines to meet. If you manage your time well, you'll be able to stay organized and you'll be able to meet your deadlines. As a worker, you have to get more things done. And it's not just about doing them, you're doing them well, right? You're delivering top-notch work, excellent standard work. It puts you in control of your work and your life, whether you're a student or you're a worker, right? If you're able to manage your time well, you'll be in control. The task, the activities, they will not control you, but you will be in control. You will, and not only will you be in control, you will have more than enough time, free time to do other things. You have more than enough time to do other things. So it puts you in control of your time and your life, of your work and your life. So also it increases your creativity because most times when you don't manage your time well, you're having to do things in the last minute, you're rushing, you're stressed, you can't be creative, you can't think outside the box. But when you manage your time, but when you're in control of your time, right, you're able to think outside the box, you're more creative. And the next point is that it improves your reputation at work. There's a saying that goes, it says, your reputation precedes you, right? If you're the kind of person that always doesn't meet deadlines, right? Kind of person that always, you're just very bad. Your time management skill is very bad. Your colleagues would know this. Your bosses would know this. Your spouses will know, your parents. It just really affects your reputation at work, at home. And remember, these are the things that they will consider when they want to doing appraisals and doing promotions. So knowing how to manage your time can improve your reputation at work and give you a very good chance of being, promoted at work. So for both parties, it helps you achieve your goal. It reduces stress. It improves work-life balance. It reduces the onset of certain medical conditions. So some people, because they don't manage their time well, they're always anxious, right? They're always having headaches. They're always having palpitations. Even hypertension, there's a link between stress and hypertension. So because you're not managing your time well, you're always stressed, whether you're acutely stressed or chronically stressed, right? You are increasing your chance of having certain medical condition. Example which I gave is hypertension, right? So, but when you learn how to manage your time well, you don't have to struggle with all these symptoms or conditions. Like I said earlier, it increases your free time, prevents procrastination and all the consequences associated with it. So you and I can see that there are many benefits of learning how to manage our time well. For me, I think the most benefit is being in control, knowing that I'm in control, knowing that the task and the goals and the activities, and they don't control me. I set the pace. I, make the rules because I planned it well. I have a schedule. Do you understand? So, and I believe that at the end of this webinar, you and I would have learned tips, on how to better manage our time. So as an employer, if you're an employer here, if you yourself are able to manage your time well, right, or if you're able to help your employees manage their time well, it would help you set realistic goals for them. It will help you understand their capabilities. It would lower absenteeism. It would enhance your reputation with your client, because if your employees are delivering well, or they're delivering their goals well, right? If they are meeting their set targets, it improves your reputation, your profits would increase and all of that. So as an employer, it enhances your reputation with your clients. So what are the components? What are the components of time management? This is not an exhaustive list. Some of the things I would say here, I would still repeat again. They say repetition is helps with learning. So I'm going to repeat some things again, but some of the components is goal setting. So we have goal setting, prioritization, scheduling, time blocking, delegating, decision making, strategic thinking, and then multitasking. So now goal setting. What is goal setting? So goal setting simply is you being able to decide on what you want to do within a given period of time. So to be able to manage your time well, you need to have a goal. You need to have a goal per week. So it depends on you. For me, I usually have, at the beginning of the year, I have a yearly goal. Then I break it down to months. Then I have monthly goals. Then I break it down to weeks. So every week I have goals. I have set targets for the week. Every day I have set targets. I have set goals for the day. So you are deciding what you want to do per time. Like I've told you, daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly. And I'm sure some of you have heard this already. You need to have what we call SMART goals. SMART goals. So for those of you that have heard this, the S means your goal has to be specific. Your goal specific, meaning that you need to state exactly what you want to do per time. So I want to learn a new language. That's a specific goal, right? Or I want to become more healthy, right? That's a specific goal. Or I want to lose weight. I want to lose 5 kg. That's a specific goal. So SMART goals, that's the S. The M, it should be measurable. So how will you measure that you're making, how will you measure progress? If your weight is 55 today and you want to lose 5 kg, it means in a few months, when you check, your weight should be 50, right? So it's measurable. You're able to measure progress. The A is your goal should be achievable. So it should not be something, it should be achievable. So it should not be something that is not realistic. You can't say that in a week time you want to maybe become a medical doctor. It's not possible. You can't go to medical school for in 1 week. So it has to be something that is achievable. And it leads me to my next point, which is R. It has to be realistic. Achievable, realistic. You can't go to medical school in 1 week. So whatever goal you're setting has to be something that can work. Do you understand? You're not trying to, we're not magician. Nobody's a magician, right? So even when you're setting goals, work related, study related, your personal life, you want to improve your relationship, you want to go get a certification, you have to have realistic goals. The T is time bound. It has to be.
I don't want to always have this mentality, that this head mentality.
You have to fix a time. Time bound. T is a time when you have to fix a time, right? So I'm gonna go back to my example. So I want to, so this my goal is to lose weight. So SMART goal. I want to lose 5 kg in, what's realistic? Maybe a year. A year may even be too much, but at least be realistic. It's better than saying I want to lose 5 kg in 1 month. I mean, some people do lose 5 kg in 1 month, but they take very drastic measures, which I would not advise as a medical doctor. So SMART goal, I want to lose 5 kg in 1 month. So it's specific, it's measurable. I'll be checking my weight over time. It's achievable, it's realistic, and there's a time frame. So if you want to learn how to manage your time well, you need to set specific goals. Do you understand? And when you're setting your specific goals, then you break them down, but we'll still get to the part where we break it down. The next one is prioritization. Like I said, this is in no particular order. Prioritization. We always have more than one goal per time, right? I had more than one goal this week. I had more than one goal for the month, right? But I have to prioritize. So I simply have to arrange them in order of priority, in order of importance, in order of value, right? And I also have to consider the ones that if I don't do them would have the highest consequence, right? That was also helping prioritization. So we're looking at both consequence and value, right? And those are the ones you want to do first. Do you understand? So when you're managing your time, not all your goals or all your tasks or all your activities have the same consequence or have the same value. So you've set them right. You have maybe 20 goals for the year, right? You have 20 goals, which is perfect. But you have to now prioritize which ones are more important, which ones have higher value. When you've done that, you want to schedule. So scheduling is all about planning and organizing, and then fitting the goals into your calendar. So we have scheduling tools, which I'll talk about. So your calendar, your diaries, your planner. So you're sitting down and then you're planning, okay, you're scheduling them, you're assigning a time frame. So when you're going to do these things, time blocking, we'll talk about again, but it's simply you breaking your day or your months, breaking the month into weeks, and then breaking the weeks into But when you break a day, look at a day, take 24 hours a day, you break it into chunks or blocks, and then you assign a task to that block. I hope this makes sense. We're going to talk about this again, so I'm not going to spend so much time here. Then delegating, we'll talk about delegating again, but I'll just touch on it. So delegating is simply about you learning how to, assign a role or responsibility to somebody else. Remember, we're talking about how you can be in control of your time, how you can effectively use the time you have, which unfortunately is not always a lot, trust me. But it's 24 hours for all of us. But the free time you and I have may not be the same. So you need to learn how to, delegate, how to sometimes hand over some responsibilities to someone else, someone who is capable. We're going to talk about this again, so I will not spend too much time there. Decision making, indecisiveness in itself is a time waster. So you don't want to, when you're setting your goals, you don't want to be, in the value of indecision, or you have to make up your mind. What do I want to do this week? What do I want to do this month? What is my goal for this year? If you need help, seek help. If you need counsel, seek counsel. Or whatever you do, don't be on one point. Don't be, wavering between to this. Make up your mind and get on with, your goals and your tasks. Don't be indecisive. Do you understand? Because it doesn't help. Decision making helps you manage your time well. Strategic thinking is similar to scheduling, but this one is you're planning ahead, future planning. You are also envisioning or preempting the things that could go wrong, and you're finding ways to also like prevent them from happening. So this one is like planning for years. So you're thinking about, okay, what is my goal for the next 5 years? My goal for the next 2 years? My personal goal for the next 5, 10 years? You're thinking ahead, okay, what do I need to do now to be able to meet those goals? For me, maybe 8 years ago, my plan was to study, go back to medical school, do my internship, write my exams, relocate. Those were my long-term plans. And that was me doing strategic thinking, and I worked towards it. So strategic thinking is something you can do now. You can project into the next 5 to 10 years, right? And when you do that, every day, the things you do would guide you towards meeting that goal, and you'll be able to manage your time well. Multitasking also helps. We're going to talk about that again, so I would not waste too much time there. So I've already mentioned the components, but I didn't mention good record keeping skills. This is very, very, very essential. So manage your time well, you also need to minimize time wastage, right? So we already spoke about how indecision wastes your time. So you want to take that out of your list. So having bad record keeping skills waste time. So you want to learn how to keep good records. So whether it's at work, it's at home, your studies, personal life, whatever you're doing, learn how to document well, learn how to file things well, learn how to store things well, because it helps you when you need to make reference in the future. You don't have to waste time. We don't have time to waste. Do you understand? You don't have to waste time to start looking for what is not lost, right? So learn how to keep good record. It really helps to manage your time well as a student. This is all my surgery notes, or this is all my petroleum petroleum engineering note, whatever subject you're studying. When you've studied something, okay, this is what I've read so far. It's from here to here. These are my notes. Keep your notes well. Keep your question papers, organize them well. It really, really helps you when you're studying. Be organized. If you're working with a client, all the things you guys, your emails, organize them well. I honestly, it's one thing I really love to do. I love to section things. So try to have a good record keeping skill. Then know when to say no. This is also very, 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 very essential. Don't overcommit. This is like one of the not if you don't know how to say no, you're really, really going to really run out of time a lot. You're not going to be able to manage your time well, and it's really going to affect you. You'll be stressed. You will not be in control of your time. So we have to learn how to say no. Unfortunately, what I've realized is that in Africa, unfortunately, we have been taught to probably always say yes. It's so hard to say no. But the truth is, the time I have is different from the time you have. I have probably just 1 hour a day to do things. You probably have like 10 hours. You have more time. You don't have as much commitment or much responsibilities as I do. So if I say no, you should respect my no. Do you understand? So you have to know when to say no. Don't overcommit, because at the end of the day, you will be the one that will be affected. Your time is the one that's going to be wasted. So know how to say no. So now, what are some of the tools we can use to manage our time effectively? So I want you guys to give me just a few tools, and then we'll move on. So so when I say tools, I think I already mentioned it earlier. Just what are some of the things you can use? Maybe tool is a very fancy word. What are some of the things you can use to manage your time effectively? What do we think? A working watch. Thank you, Nancy. Yes, a working watch. I will want today. What else do we think? What do we think we can use to manage our time effectively? Anybody? A few more comments and then we'll move. To-do list. Thank you, Samuel. A reminder. Thank you, Akiko. Tax scheduling apps. Awesome. Right. So you guys have said a lot of things. Oh, Miss David Alifo, thank you. A calendar. Thank you. Right. So yeah, so I just got this picture from the internet. So you guys have said a lot of correct things. But what do we see here? String of calendar. Yes, thank you very much. So I don't know if you guys can see, what tools do you see here? So we have, just to make it fast, but you can also answer. So we have a calendar here. We have a clock here, a clock here. So we have some notebooks or notepads here, right? So we have digital tools and then we have physical tools, right? These are tools that helps us with our time management, right? So for scheduling and, for scheduling meetings, right, you can use a calendar. So I personally use my Google Calendar. I love it because it's synced across all my devices, my phone, my laptop, and if the interesting thing is, if you share the same email address, the email address you use to log into that Google Calendar, if you share with somebody else, they also get the same notification. So my partner and I, that's what we use. So we have the same calendar. We plan and schedule together. It gets the same reminders that I get, and it just makes things very seamless for us. There's also Outlook calendar on my laptop or on your laptop or any other calendar you see. It could even be a hard copy calendar that you use. But calendars are very excellent in scheduling. Do you understand? There's also Calendly, is an app. You can look for that in the Apple Play Store or the Google Play Store. So they help you with scheduling and setting reminders. We have the ones that you can use for task management. We have Trello, Todoist, Asana. I personally haven't used any of this. You can take a picture and just check them out in your in Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. Download them, try them out. If you know you're struggling with time management, these apps are very, very good. We have the time tracking and productivity apps, apps. There's Clockify, there's Time Count, there's Harvest Time Tracker, there's Focus to Do, which I use Focus to Do. It's excellent, it's perfect, and we're going to talk about it very soon. So it helps me to focus, right? We're going to talk about Pomodoro technique very soon, and I'll come back to Focus to Do timer. It's beautiful. So take a picture if you can of this page or of this slide, and then explore all the options here, right? But very essential on this slide is the calendar, is the Focus to Do timer, which is what I use. I can't tell you what I don't use. And then alarms. Talk about alarms. Alarms are very, very good. Alarms on your clock, on your phones, alarms on your laptops. Alarms, I use alarms a lot. In fact, my husband says that I have too many alarms. Yes, I'd rather be reminded multiple times than to not be reminded at all. So then we have the notes taking and organization tool. So we have Notion, Microsoft To Do, Color Notes, the notebooks, Google Documents. They're all very good because sometimes you just want to, you want to just write something down somewhere. Maybe later you go and just schedule them nicely, plan and organize, but you just have to write things somewhere. So all these apps are very good. I personally use Notes. I'm sure some of you use it on my phone. My phones, I use Notes. I use Google Document, which is also very good because it's synced across all my devices. So it helps me also to plan. Remember we talk about good record keeping skills. I have different documents for different tasks, different events, for different goals. So if today I'm trying to read for an exam, I have document on that exam. I have another document, maybe I'm planning an event, I have a document for that. It really helps to capture my thoughts. And then for those of you that have access to a smart speaker, they are perfect. They also are connected to your calendars and they have alarms, which you can just use to, manage your time. So you can just ask if it's Google, if it's Alexa assistant, if it's your Siri, you can just, use your voice. It's usually automated. Just use your voice and say, oh, hey, Google, do this for me. And they just set a reminder for me, set an alarm for me, and it just helps you. right? So we also have the physical tools. We have the planners, we have the diaries, we have the notebooks, we have sticky notes. I use all of these ones. In fact, I brought some of them. Okay, it's not within reach. So I have planners. I have my weekly, monthly planners. We have the diaries, we have the notebooks. I use all of them. I use more physical tools, and then I also use a calendar and the rest, but I have a lot of physical tools. So it's good. I believe it's good to have both of them because today you may forget your notebook or your diary or your planner, but you have your phone. So both of them are very essential. Then effective communication tool is also very good. Remember, it helps you to communicate well and it helps you to save time. We are trying to save time. So if there's a meeting, you're trying to prepare for an exam, for instance, and you stay where you stay is quite a distance from where your study partner stays. Meet on Zoom, meet on Google Meet, and save that time, manage your time well. So effective communication tools can help you save time. It is helping you save time and it's also helping you communicate well. But the main emphasis is to save time. So I hope you guys have gotten it. So the main things: calendar, your alarms, your focus to do timer, your notebooks, your planners, your diaries. They all help you manage your time, or they help you set reminders also. Okay. So time management techniques. We're gonna take some 5 minutes break. Please don't go anywhere. Just get a cup of water, get a drink, use the restroom, and we're back in 6:50 at 5:55 for those in Ghana, and then 6:55 for those in the UK. We're almost done, but this is the main important. This is like the most important aspect of today's talk. So let's take a break before we continue. All right, we'll be starting in a few seconds. Like I said, we have gifts, 2 gifts for the most active participant, and the facilitator is one looking out for them. It's a gift you want to you actually want to get. So please, and the way to qualify is to be active, like to comment in the chat box. I still have more questions, right? Because I actually wanted this to be a dialogue. So I have a few more questions. So please engage. And I'm really grateful. So far, you guys have been doing well. Thank you so much. Okay. So we have a few more seconds. So right now we'll be going back. Yes, it's 6:55 or 5:55. So we're quickly going to talk about a few time management techniques. There are several techniques, but I'm going to just be highlighting Pareto principle, Eisenhower matrix, Pomodoro technique, and then time blocking. Yes. Okay, so my next question is, what do we see in this image? What do you guys think this image is talking about? What do you see? What comes to mind? What's going through your mind or going through your head as you're looking at this picture? Anybody? A few people to comment and then we'll... Anyone? There's a pie chart. There's 20 here. There's 80 there. What does it mean? Less effort, more result. True. Yes, thank you very much. Less effort, more results. Okay, Nancy. Results produced from effective work. Was one more person to comment, and then we'll move. One more person. I think Nancy and Mrs. Akiko Dokas are really doing well. I don't know what the facilitator thinks, but I really like the way they're responding. Okay, Samuel says concentrated efforts to produce desired outcome. Thank you very much, everyone. You have absolutely said all correct things. So the very first principle or technique is Pareto principle. So it's one of the many time management tools that helps us with prioritization. If you remember earlier, I mentioned prioritization, right? About you knowing how to place things in order of sort through your goals or your tasks and place them in order of priority, like in order of importance and value, right? So Pareto principle helps you to do that. It's called the 80-20 rule. So the concept states that 80% of all the consequences or outcomes or results or effects of return or revenue, whatever word you want to call it, but 80% of the result comes from just 20% of the effort, 20% of the resources, 20% of the courses or the input, meaning that there's an indirect relationship between the input and the output, an indirect relationship between the effort and the result. Do you understand? So it means most times when we look at all our goals, remember I spoke about goal setting, you have a lot of goals. Out of all those goals, right, or all those tasks or activities, 20% of them will give you the desired result you require, right? So this principle helps us learn how to allocate our resources more efficiently and more effectively. And this time around, we're talking about time, right? You can apply it. Why I love time management is because it's a skill that cuts across. It's a skill that is transferable. So whether you're a doctor or you're a nurse or you're a lawyer or you're a banker, everybody needs to learn this skill. So it can be applied in business, work, studies, personal lives, right? And its time management is the most common use for Pareto principle. So instead of spreading your time across all your many important tasks, it helps you focus on the most important task, okay? So in order to get the most impact, you have to identify, like I said, which task has the most important impact for your team, and then you focus on that. So every day, so it could be a daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly assessment. So you've decided on all the tasks or all the goals or activities you want to do. They ask yourself, of all these ones, which one has the most impact? Which one has the most value? Which one will give me the best results, the best or the most revenue or the most returns? Do you understand? Because Not all of them will yield the same result. Effort and result, they're unequal. It's just a few of them. So you need to learn how to identify the ones, those tasks or activities or goals that will give you the most result. And that's what Pareto principle is all about. 20-80. And this is because, you see, task, project, activity, they don't carry the same weight. They don't have the same level of importance. So you have to focus on the ones that would yield the highest results, right? I mentioned this already. And once you've decided on the ones that would yield the highest result, then you focus on doing those ones first. You'll start with those ones, and then you leave the other ones and do them subsequently. Okay. So these are some examples. So as student, if you're a student here, how can you apply the Pareto principle? You would agree with me that when we have to prepare for exams, there are some topics we call high yield topics and some topics we call low yield topics. So it means if you want to study, you have to select the high yield topics. Most times they're not a lot. If you have like, let's say 50 topics to cover for an exam, it's possible that just 10 out of those 50 questions are high yield. They are the 20% that will give you the 80% results you want. They are the 20% that will give you the 80% grade you want. So that's how you would use it as a student. Do you understand? So studying for an exam. And then if you are an employer, right, and you look at your customers or your workers, you have to determine which customers are your top customers that will give the company the 80% of their profits. Or which of your workers. Not everybody has the same attitude to work. Some people are better than some other people, fortunately and unfortunately. Some are more dedicated to their work. Some are better able to manage their time. So which of your customers, which of your workers will give you 80% of the profits or the revenue or the returns you need? Then you focus on those ones. Not like you focus on them, but I mean, you focus on them, but you also note them. And even in football, right? It's not all the players that scores all the goal. It's just probably a few of them. So those 20% of players are the ones that will give you 80% of the results we see. And in our personal lives, just so many things we want to do, right? It's just 20% of those daily activities that will give you 80% of the happiness you seek. So that's how to apply it. Then the very next principle is the Eisenhower matrix, right? It's a technique, sorry. The next technique is the Eisenhower matrix. So here we are talking about the 4 Ds, okay? So it's a tool that helps to prioritize your tasks. So it's also about task prioritization. So if you can see this picture here, it categorizes all the tasks, all your goals into 4 brackets. We have the urgent, the not urgent, the important, and then the not important. So the very first segment, we have the urgent and important. That's the do section. The not urgent and important, that's the decide section. The urgent and not important, that's the delegate section. And then the not urgent and not important, that's the delete section. So it's 4 Ds: do, decide, delegate, delete. For me to easily remember, I say do, decide, to delegate, and delete. It helps because sometimes you just have so many things to do, you don't really know where to place what. But if you want to help yourself in knowing how to prioritize, ask yourself, what is urgent and important that I have to do now? What is urgent and not important that I can delegate? What is not urgent and important that I can do later, right? And what is not urgent and not important that I can delete or that I should delete? So when you're using this matrix, make sure you don't put more than 10 tasks in each of the boxes, right? So yeah. So the very first quadrant is the do quadrant. So do, decide, to delegate, and the do quadrants are the things that are urgent and important. They're the things you have to do. They require your immediate attention. You have to do them now. They have very significant impacts and very significant consequences. If you don't, you have to do it now. They have to be done first, right? And these are the things. So look at the Pareto principle we spoke about. This is where you will place those 20% efforts or 20% resources. This is where you place them, because when you place them there, they will give you your result. Those are the important things. So this is where use your Pareto principle to put your task in this quadrant. What are some examples? If there's an emergency, there's an important deadline, there's a fire, there's a burst pipe, a visitor comes to your house, you have a proposal due tomorrow, those things are urgent. You have to do them now. Put it in that quadrant. So what are some of the tasks you want to add to your do quadrant? Just a few examples. What will you add? What tasks do you think someone needs to add to their do quadrant? Anybody? A few responses and then we'll move. I'm just trying to make it as practical as possible so that when you go back home, you can, draw your own quadrant yourself. What are some of the tasks you add to the do quadrant? Your most important tasks, yeah, examples. Do you have any example to give? Something you have to do immediately? I'm just gonna get my laptop charger. Okay. What are some of the things we want to add? Anyone? Oh, my participants, this section is loaded with questions. Submitting an assignment on time, true. Emergencies, all right, thank you. Okay, so we'll go to the next quadrant, the side quadrant. So these ones are not urgent, but they're important. So that's it here. So these ones, they affect your long-term goals and successes, but they don't require immediate action. Okay, so you don't have to do them now, right? They require future planning as they benefit you in the long term. So this task or these goals are things that they are important, but they're not urgent, right? So for instance, if you tell yourself that, okay, I would wish to go back to school, or I would wish to get a certification, I want to lose weight, or I want to start a business maybe later this year, it's important. It's an important task, but it's not something you have to do now. So those are the things you will schedule for a later time because they affect your long-term goals and success, but they don't have to be done now. So examples, signing up for a professional course, attending a networking event, adding improvement to a personal project, improving your relationships, your family, starting a healthy habit, making a business plan. These are things that are quite important, but they are not urgent. So when you drop that list, you have to put it in this quadrant. Because of time, I'm going to move to the next one, the delegate quadrant. So these ones are things that are very important. Sorry, they are very urgent. All the urgent tasks are tasks that have to be done now, right? Urgent needs to be done now, either by you or by someone else. So if you are available to do it, then you put it in quadrant 1, do. If you can't do it, you have to delegate it to someone else, right? It's not crucial for your long-term goal. So examples, grocery shopping, doing house chores, uploading a blog post, if you're setting up or attending meetings, those things, like for instance, if let's say someone, a public figure, and you have two clashing appointments, you can always ask a delegate to go for you. But the thing you have to take note of is that the delegate needs to have the skill, the capacity to do the work. They need to understand the task, and you have to follow up. You have to make sure you supervise them and follow up well. If not, because they're representing you, so you need to be sure that they can do these things well, right? Remember, they should understand the task and the goal. They should have the skill and the knowledge, and then you have to follow up and supervise them, right? Because of time also, I'm going to move, but I hope you're thinking about it, the things you can delegate in your lives. So the delete quadrant are things that they are not urgent, they're not important, okay? They should be eliminated as much as possible or deleted. If you spend a lot of your time in this quadrant, you're going to feel very stressed. You feel very unfulfilled in life, okay? So excessive social media scrolling, especially when you have things to do, unnecessary meetings, excessive email checking, and it's not just social media, it's anything that really doesn't have much value, or is low on your priority task. If you spend a lot of your time doing those things, you will end up wasting your time. You won't be able to manage your time, or you won't be able to meet your set goals. Okay, so the next one is the Pomodoro technique. Pomodoro means tomato in Italian, right? It's a time management technique that helps you to break your work into 25-minute interval, followed by a short 5-minute break. I do this a lot. Okay. And then so 25 minutes, you work for 25 minutes, there's a 5-minute break. You work for 25 minutes, there's a 5-minute break. You repeat that 4 times. After 4 Pomodoros, you take a long break, 15 to 30 minutes before you start again, right? So this helps with focus because sometimes it's hard to actually sit down and maybe do work for like 1 hour continuously or 2 hours continuously. It's always advisable to break them into smaller bits or smaller chunks. Okay. So this is a summary of what I've been saying. Select the task you want to do, set your timer, work for 25 minutes, take a break, repeat 4 rounds, then take a long break. Usually after the 4th round, you take a longer break for 15 to 30 minutes. Okay. And so the goal, like I said, is to help you make your task seem a bit more achievable. There are apps that help you do this. So on our laptops, we have apps that help us to do this. They call it Focus Timer. On my laptop, it's there. You probably have to look for it. Focus Timer. On our phones, we have apps you can download from the Play Store or Apple Store. Just download Focus Timer. It's somewhere in the slide. Focus Timer, and it will just automatically, after 25 minutes, it will tell you you have completed 25 minutes, time for a break. After 5 minutes, it starts again. It repeats that, and then after the longer, after the 4 Pomodoros, it gives you a long break. So it really, really helps. And one thing you have to know is that you need to make sure you are not distracted during that period. So when I'm trying to focus on what I'm doing, I turn on my do not disturb mode on my phone or on my laptop, which we all have. So if you've not used it before, just type it, find a way, maybe Google how to find your do not disturb option on your phone. It's going to block out all notifications, all distractions. Unfortunately, it blocks out calls also, but it's for 25 minutes. And after the 25 minutes, if you want to check your apps to see if you've missed out on anything, quickly check it. But while you are focusing, when you click on your do not disturb option, there is no distraction, no calls, no messages, no notifications, right? But it's essential that you take your breaks. 5 minutes, take a break. The 15, 30 minutes, take a nap or get something to eat. Just do something different. Get away from your table so that when you come back, you're refreshed. So here are some of the timer apps I spoke about. This one I use, the Focus To Do timer. The other ones, you can take a picture of the slide if you want, screenshot it, try them. But I use the Focus To Do. It's also on your laptop. If you have tablets, probably will be on it also. So what then is time blocking? So what do we see in this picture? This one I need an answer. We're almost done. What do we see in this picture? Time blocking. Few responses, and then we would move. Anybody? Structure timing block. Thank you, Nancy. Hey, Nancy, I feel like you're probably going to be up for the gifts today because you're very responsive. Thank you. Right. Any other person? So you can see this is the week. This is like a calendar, right, of the week, and then there are different times. So the person that's done is from 6 to 8 p.m. and the person has broken it into blocks. So, and he has color coded his own. Yours doesn't have to be this fancy. Free time out of work. Okay. Nice. Thank you very much, Mrs. Akiko. Person has broken down the calendar into Emmanuel, say timetable. All right, yes. It's not like a timetable, yes. So pretty much with time blocking, what you're doing is that you are breaking your day into blocks and assigning a task to that block. So some people do morning, afternoon, and night. They can say in the morning, I want to maybe study. Afternoon, I'm going to work. Night time will be for family. That's a very broad time block, right? A very broad way to block your time. So other people go into details. So they say between 8 and 11, this is what I want to do. So you're breaking the time into blocks. Between 2 and 4, I'm studying. Between 6 and 8, I'm in church. But remember to be flexible. Don't be flexible and set realistic. Make it realistic. You don't want to leave too little gaps in between. So this is similar. So it depends on you how you want to break your day. Is it 6 hours? Do you want to just focus on 6 hours or 8 hours and then break it into chunks? So it involves scheduling specific blocks of time for different activities, right? So you can use a calendar. This person used a calendar. That person used a calendar. You can use a planner. You can use any scheduling tool. You can use a diary, your notepad, anything, okay? It helps you stay focused, usually. So this person also used their calendar. You see, whatever you have, if it's a pen and paper, you know, this is just what time blocking is about. You're blocking different times. So this one is 8 to 9. You know, this one is 11. This is between 1 and 3. So you're blocking, putting different tasks different times of the day. Remember, we've spoken about the Pareto principle and the Eisenhower. So you're hopefully putting the most important things on this timetable, right? Or on this, timetable, not the less essential things. Not like you shouldn't do the less essential things, but we said we have to focus on what's important first. So let's bring everything home, right? We'll be done in a few minutes. So how do you, like I've said a lot of things, how do you bring it home? So set your SMART goal. The year has started, the month has started, the week has started, the day has started. What do I want to achieve today? What are the tasks I need to do? What do I need to do? I need to study, or I need to pick up my kids. I need to go to the market. I have a deliverable at work. I have to study for school. Everything, because we all have different commitments. You may be a student, you may also be married, you may also be a church leader. we are a lot of things. We wear many hats. Okay. Then tell yourself that, all right, so you want to prioritize. Draw your matrix. Which one do I have to do by myself? Which is important that I have to do first? Which one do I have to delegate? Right? Which one can I schedule to do later? And which one do I have to delete? When you've done that, you just use your scheduling tools, your calendar, your diaries, your notepads, your alarms, do all of that. Usually, I like to do it early in the morning, early in the morning, that's for the day. Then the weekly ones, I do it at the beginning of the week on Mondays usually. So schedule. Then dedicate specific time of the day to do your task. Dedicate specific tasks to different times of the day. So we spoke about the time blocking already. So you've already decided, okay, so today I'm doing just 5 things. I'm delegating 5 things. I'm going to schedule the other 5. So what are the 5 things I'm doing? Between 8 and 10, I'm reading. Between 12 and 1, I'm working. It's up to you. Leverage on the time of the day that you're most productive. Are you a daytime person? Are you a nighttime person? Leverage on that. Make sure that you're creating a very conducive work environment. If you're better at working at home, if you have the option of working remotely and you feel like, it's better I work at home rather than go to the office, then work at home. If you have to go to the library to get some work done, go to the library. If you have to go study in your room, make sure the environment is conducive. Get to work, use your timer. So when you're about to do the work, right, you're about to study, work on your project, if you know you'll be distracted, use the do not disturb option, get your focus timer and get to work. Eliminate time wasters. Remember to stay organized. Remember to, and the very important aspect, so this is SPSR, set your goal, prioritize, schedule, which is using your tools, and then review. The R is review. You want to keep track of your goals and your progress on a daily basis. So you're updating them. So at the end of today, what have I done? What have I not done? You update them. But also, aside from that, you have to regularly and periodically review your schedules. So it can be every 3 months, every 6 months. You're looking at your plans. What do you need to modify? What do you need to review? Do you understand? So that you can achieve your set goals. Okay, quickly run through this one. Start early. Whatever you want to do, just start early. Set time aside for yourself. Learn to say no. I already mentioned that. Have a daily routine. It's good to have a daily routine. In the mornings, this is what I do. In the mornings, this is what I do at a particular time of the day. Make sure you have a leeway or buffer. Don't be too rigid with your planning, because the truth is a lot of things are out of our control. So make sure you have a leeway or a buffer. Use effective multitasking. There's some tasks that can be combined because they require different levels of concentration. Do you understand? So you can be cooking and you're listening to an audiobook, or you're listening to a recording from maybe a class you missed, right? You can be exercising and watching a video. Maybe you're doing an online course. So you can multitask effectively. There are ways to effectively multitask. So make sure you try and do that. So you're going to make sure that you're combining 2 tasks that do not require the same level of concentration, okay, or attention. Be kind to yourself, reward yourself, pray. You have to pray. I'm a Christian, and I think prayer helps because we don't have a lot of time. Sometimes it seems like we don't have much time, but God can help you maximize the little time you have. Stay focused. Remember why you were even trying to do what you were trying to do. Like, remember your why. It helps. It's good to have a good support system and stress coping mechanism. When you feel like you're tired, sharpen the saw. It's very essential. Take a break. Okay. Work on your procrastination, communicate effectively, Communicate effectively. This is very, very, very essential. Like I said, there are lots of things out of our control. So if you find that you have a target, you have a goal, you have a deadline you're supposed to meet, and things are not going the way they were supposed to, or things are not going the way they are supposed to, you're running out of time, communicate to your superiors, to your bosses, to your supervisors, to your colleagues. Just make sure they know, make sure they are aware. Don't leave them hanging. Don't leave them, especially when they're depending on you for the result or for a task. Communicate, let them know, give them, notice. Oh, please, I'm really sorry. I'm not able to do this. This has happened. Just communicate effectively. So this person is really, really stressed out. Like they're not managing their time well. They're probably over committing, procrastinating. They are not delegating well. But I'm just going to talk about procrastination. We do this a lot. I don't know why we do it, but we do it a lot. We delay, we postpone tasks until the last minute. Even when we know that there's a negative consequence. But if we're able to identify the triggers, it would help us with, solving this problem of procrastination. Because procrastination is one of the problems, with time management, because your time is limited. Instead of you acting, you just delay and leave things to the last minute. So if you want to improve upon your procrastination, you have to identify the trigger. Are you scared? Why are you not starting? Is it that you're not motivated? Think about the short and the long-term consequence of your action. If you have an exam to prepare for and you don't study, what's going to happen? You're going to fail. If you fail, you probably can repeat that year. So always think about the consequences also. You are married and you're not, okay, let me not use married as an example. You're working and you have a lot of deadlines, targets, and you're not meeting them. You could lose your job. So always think about the long-term and the short-term consequences. Your reputation is at stake, right? When you set smart goals, it helps you to prevent procrastination. There's something called the 2-minute rule and the temptation bonding, but I don't know if you have time to discuss that. You can read about it. But if there's time, I can always come back. So make the reward of acting more immediate. Okay. Have an accountability partner or mentor. This really helps. Someone that can keep you in check. So you can tell someone that, or it could be a friend, someone you trust. These are the things I set out to do this year. These are my big plans, my big goals. Can you please keep me in check? Can you please, remind me, see if I'm making progress? Have a mentor, have an accountability partner. Right. So these are some books on time management. You can take a picture. If you want to learn more, you can get soft copy or hard copy. I've read, I think the second one and the last one. There's some other books. You can, if you enjoy reading, you can take a picture and get the books, some of them, the ones you can lay your hands on. But in conclusion, time is a limited, non-renewable resource, hence the need to utilize it well. Time management skills are transferable and applicable in all areas of one's life. So I'm a medical doctor, but I still need to learn how to manage my time well. My husband is a data analyst. He needs to learn how to manage his time, regardless of your profession, whether you're a lawyer, you are in tech, you're a banker, a teacher. You need to learn how to, you need to learn the skills because the skills are transferable. It's a soft skill. It improves with practice and with commitment. Nobody was born an expert. We just keep practicing and we keep committing. And then effective time management skills help to improve productivity across board. It reduces stress and it gives one better control of their time. So we spoke about the principles. They help you with prioritization and focus. And there is no better time than the present to begin mastering this skill. These are my references. Thank you. Do we have any questions? Let's see. Mr. Fortune, please, I am done.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you, Doc, for I've been so impacted from today's session. I really, really appreciate it. And the all that you did. It was amazing. I was so inspired all throughout the session. Thank you so much, Doc. So guys, right about now, if you have any questions for Dr. Maria, you can feel free to put up your hand or leave them in the chat.
Yes, please
Okay.
send them, put them in the chat box or send it to the facilitator. Any question, any clarification, any contribution? Remember, we're here to learn. I'm also still learning. Anybody, if you have anything you want to share, please, you can. Well, I don't know if it's okay for them to unmute. Is it? Or they should put it in the chat box?
Yes, please.
It's
Hello.
okay for. Hi.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is David Alupo,
All right.
and by profession, I'm a seasoned banker
Okay.
and a chartered accountant of about 39 years experience.
Awesome.
So I've been trying to listen to what you have been saying, what's the lecture series. And I'm based in Lagos and Abuja in Nigeria. What I took from this meeting is actually about the danger of procrastination.
Okay.
Generally, everybody knows that there's a phrase that says procrastination is the thief of time.
Yes.
So, I mean, our forefathers even know those ones that have been saying it. So, my question to the lecturer is, how do we minimize procrastination? Because a number of times, we also know that a number of things we should do it now.
Yes.
But we'll rather say, let me do it on Monday. Then on Monday, I'll say, let me do it next Friday. And before you realize it, we miss out on the objective and on the goal. So how do we avoid or minimize procrastination? That is one. Two, I will advise that
Okay.
to develop this management lecture into a series, time series. It could be every once in a month, could be once in 2 weeks, changing the topics from peer management series to medical issues, which will be beneficial to those who are listening to your series. So I wish you success in this project, and I pray that God continue to enrich your wisdom in Jesus' name. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. David. Okay. Thank you very much for that contribution. I'll quickly answer this one before we get the next question. But if you have any question, you can put it in the chat box, or you can send it to Mr. Fortune directly.
So I think Nancy has a question. So Nancy says, please, what do you do when you plan for the day, but you don't end up using that plan because you have to attend to so many impromptu emergencies?
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. So I'm going to quickly respond to these two questions before we move. So on the question on procrastination, maybe I didn't explain it well. Okay, because I think I tried to touch on it earlier. So most times people procrastinate for various reasons, right? So we need to actually find out the cause or the trigger of the procrastination. Why am I procrastinating? Why am I not getting started on this project? I'm supposed to maybe clean my room. I'm supposed to start a business, right? You want to start a business and you've just been procrastinating. Why? You have to identify the why, find out the reason. What is the trigger? Are you scared? Is it that you don't? And if you're scared, what is the source of the fear? Is it that you feel like you don't have enough information? That you feel like you're not ready? Is it that you're not very motivated? If you're able to identify the reason why you are holding back or the reason why you're delaying or postponing that task, you've already made a step to overcoming that problem. Do you understand? So first of all, identify the why. The second thing is, like I said, think about the consequence of your action. So if I keep procrastinating, so what is going to happen on the short-term basis? What's going to happen on a long-term basis? What's the consequence of my action? Okay, so like I said, let's say the plan is to start a business. Probably you want to augment what you're making currently, what you're earning. You're not earning a lot and you want to make more money. you want to make more money, and you know that there's a business opportunity for you, but you've just not taken that initiative, you've just not taken that bold step. So you know your short-term or your long-term consequence of that action will be that you won't be able to make the extra cash you want or extra money you want, right? You probably would have to manage. So think about the short-term and the long-term consequence. That's just an example. There are other examples. So you're supposed to study, right? The exam is drawing near, you're not studying, right? Why are you not studying? Find out the why. Is it because you feel like it's the courses, the topics are a lot? Then break it down. Find out the why. When you find out the why, try to see if you can solve the problem. Speak to someone that may be able to help. Then think about the consequence. If you keep postponing the studying for your exam, you most likely would fail. Do you understand? So think about the short and the long term. Then there's something called like I said, also mentioned having an accountability partner. It's always good to share some of our plans. Not with everybody, 1 or 2 people, right? You share your plans with someone, a mentor, someone you respect, someone that you know can keep you in check, right? So they know that your plan for this year is to start a business and it's already May. What are you doing? Right? They would encourage you and motivate you and get you started. So have an accountability partner. Then the 2-minute rule will tell you that when you want to start a new habit, right, make sure it is something that takes less than 2 minutes to do, right? When you want to start a new habit, for instance, you tell yourself, I want to start a new business, for instance, okay? Make sure, I want to start a new business, but that's not exactly a habit. So let me use another example. So I want to lose weight. I want to lose 5 kg, right? So you want to learn the habits of maybe exercising every day, if that's your goal, or every 2 days, right? So that you can lose 5 kg. Now, it should take you less than 2 minutes to get started every day. Meaning that every day, even if all you do, every day, try to set out, even if it's just 2 minutes, right? 2 minutes. So if all you do today is just to just walk, or just to wear your, whatever, just do something that is related to that task or that goal, right? Every day for 2 minutes. Once you do it consistently, after a period of time, the amount of time you give to that task would increase, and you realize that initial resistance will be overcome. The main thing about this 2-minute rule is that you are developing the ability to show up. It's helping you build the ability to show up, helping you master the habit of showing up every day. If you show up every day for 2 minutes, do that consistently for a month, 2 months, you realize that, okay, I can actually increase it to 5 minutes. I can increase it to 10 minutes. Okay. So then you're also building momentum. Sometimes it's just because you're not used to it. It's very hard to start new habits or start new things. So the 2-minute really helps. If you want to read a book, even if it's just 2 sentences every day, read 2 different sentences every day. You're putting one leg in. Before you know it, in a week, you've read a whole page. And then later you realize that this book is actually quite interesting. Then you continue reading. In a month, 2 months, you've read, you've read some more. It says it takes about 66 days to learn or establish a habit. So if you try this 2-minute rule, it would help. But the other things I mentioned, if you're procrastinating, just find out, why am I procrastinating? What are the consequences? Get a partner, set SMART goals, try the 2-minute rule. There's also temptation bundling, but maybe you can read about that. And I hope this answered your question, sir. Okay. The next question says, what do you do when you plan for the day, but you don't end up using that plan because you have to attend to so many emergencies? Yes, this happens sometimes, but let us not get carried away with emergencies. What I will say is, as your day unfolds, right, things come up, try to work with your matrix, it's in our matrix, right? You know the things that are important, you know the things that are, so do decide to delegate or delete. You know the things that you have to do, the things you can delegate, the things you can do later is not important, and the things you can delete. So now you're struggling between what you can do and what you can ask someone else to do for you. So the emergencies, where does it fall? Is there an emergency you yourself have to do? Or is there an emergency you can delegate to somebody else? Is there someone that can help you do it? Right. Is there someone that's capable, someone that is knowledgeable that can do it for you? If the answer is yes, please let them do it so that you can focus on the things you yourself need to do. Do you understand? And if it happens that in that day, there is no one to delegate that task to, it means you probably have to carry over that task to maybe the next day. But try to make sure that you're not doing too much by yourself. There should be some things you can delegate to other people. Sometimes your money has to work for you. I like to say it, your money has to work for you. You know, if you're married, for instance, and you have so many tasks to do. I know someone that has 3 maids. I'm not saying she employed 3 maids. She has 3 maids because she's just very busy and she can't do a lot of the things in the house herself. So the chores, someone does the house chores, someone takes care of the kids, I think someone assists with cooking, so she can focus on the things, the job, like focus on the marriage, so like developing a relationship with her husband, kids, and work, right? So if your money can work for you, if you can get your parents, your friend, whatever, find a way to delegate and focus on what and if that doesn't happen, then move it to the next day. I hope that answers your question. Third question, please, what do you do when you have you plan yourself for the day on getting to the office, other things come up to another plan for the day? So I think it's similar to the other question someone asked, right? So ask yourself, where does this fall? Question says, where does it fall, right? Always try and work with the matrix, the Eisenhower matrix. Try and work with it, Mrs. Akiko. I don't know if you understand. Always try and, where does it fall? Is this something I can do? Is this something someone else can do? Do you understand? If it's something you have to do, is it urgent? Remember, let me take it back. Can you see my slides? I'm not sure if you can see my slides. Yes. So I'll quickly go back to that quadrant. So look at it there. If it's something you yourself have to do, you by yourself have to do, fine, do it. If it's something you can delegate to somebody else, you know they can do it well. Maybe, you know, you have to talk to someone, you need to counsel someone else can do it well and they are free. Let them do it. It's not everything you have to do. As long as the other person is knowledgeable and skilled, let them do, but make sure you follow up and you supervise what you're doing so that they do it well. Do you understand? Because things will always come up, but you can't do everything. You can't say yes to everything. So you also have to find out, remember the Pareto principle we spoke about. Different things carry different weights. It's not all, some things are more important than some other things. So you don't want to be wasting your precious time on what is not important. So if this thing that has come up at work, so I'm responding to Madam Akiko, if this thing that has come up at work is not very important for your business, your company, for you, if it's not very important, then it's probably something you can do later. Because you want to make sure that while you're at work, you're focusing on the 20% of things that will give you 80% of results. You're focusing on the things that are urgent. And the other ones that you can't do, you delegate. The other ones you can do later, do it later. So you have to work with your Pareto principle, your matrix, doing your time blocking, using your calendar. I hope that makes sense. So let's try and apply this, and I believe it should help. You know, any other question, please? I don't know if you've run out of time. Someone said,
Emmanuel is asking if you have a channel on YouTube or WhatsApp where you coach others.
I have a channel on YouTube, actually. So YouTube, I am Maria Aluko. You can also follow me on Instagram or LinkedIn. I have a channel on YouTube. I've posted just a few videos. They're mostly medical related videos, but I can post some more and I can work with the organizers to do some more. So yes. So on YouTube is, Caleb is going to post it for me. On YouTube, my name is Maria Aluko. On Instagram, Dr. Bao. And on LinkedIn is Maria Aluko. Yes. Okay, but honestly, guys, see, there's nothing more fulfilling than being in control of your time and work, being in control of your work and your life. Nobody is perfect. I won't say I have mastered that act. I'm still learning. We're all still learning. But I would say I think I'm doing much better because I have a variety of things I'm using, you know. So let's really try. And let's remember to pray. I think prayer also helps. Any other question?
Hello, Doc.
Hi.
Thank you so much for all that you have shared so far. really been inspiring, and the answers to the questions that have been asked so far has also thrown more light to what you shared earlier on. I wanted to ask a question with regards to the Pomodoro technique.
Okay.
So sometimes uh, uh, I have the nature of my work kind of requires, so I'm a software engineer, and
Okay.
sometimes there's emergencies in which maybe production system is down, and there's an urgent need for a quick response to get the system fixed. And at that moment, I feel like taking a break when the system is down and there is pressure, there's so much pressure on me to get everything back on, kind of like makes me feel guilty. So I wanted to find out, is there a different approach that one can take in a situation where you have a very involving task that's I don't know, for lack of a better expression, I can't afford to take a break for a certain longer period of time? Or does the Pomodoro technique only affect certain kind of activities? If you could please clarify on that, please.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So I think for the Pomodoro technique, it's sort of like in a controlled environment, the way I understand it, right? The pressure is not really a lot on you. So you're in a controlled environment. I hope that you understand what I mean by that, right? So it's pretty much just you and the task you have to do, and you're able to, because the goal of Pomodoro technique is for you to take your breaks in between, for you to rest. So you're not under too much pressure. So after the 25 minutes of maybe starting a goal or starting the project, whatever project you know that you can have your 5 minutes break in between. Then after 4 Pomodoros, you can also have your longer break in between. Yes. As for me, as a medical doctor, for instance, I don't think this would apply when I'm at work. I don't know if it makes sense, because if I'm in the clinic, for instance, I'm seeing patients, I can't say they should leave after 25 minutes because I want to take my 5 minutes break. That environment is not controlled. I don't know if that makes sense. I can't use this technique when I am in theater. Because even though the goal for that day may be to maybe get a surgery done, right? I can't say that after 25 minutes I want to take a 5 minutes break, or after 4 Pomodoros I want to take 30 minutes break. The environment is not really controlled. Things are not within my control. So this technique really works when you're in a controlled environment where a lot of things are within your control, where it's pretty much just you and the task you want to do, and there aren't other factors at play. But a number of times, yes, what the example you shared, it happens where you are in an involving task and it seems like, there's so much to do, but you can't really take a break. What I'll say is, in those situations, those things don't happen every time, right? So, and you also know the urgency. So now you're looking at the Pareto principle. You know the urgency of what needs to be done. The system is down. A lot of people are depending on you to get the system back on, So it would just be advisable for you to, also it depends on the number of people that are available to work with. If you guys would take turns to get the work done, and if someone can take a break to quickly go, eat or something, then come back, and then continue the work, that would be advisable. But all hands will have to be on deck, right? And you guys can split the breaks amongst yourself. That's what we do. So if you're in theater, for instance, I think it applies. But if we're in theater and things are going on and we have to work and maybe nobody has taken a break the whole day, we're hungry, we all can't leave theater at the same time because the work has to be done, right? So especially when you're doing anesthesia, we're trying to monitor the patient's vitals. You can't all leave, but we need to take breaks. So we take turns to take breaks. So if we're like 3 or 4, if any were 2, one person takes a break, quickly go off, short break, come back, the next person takes a break. And then when we're both taking short breaks, we continue the work together. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. The gentle request, can she please sorry, take the 80-20 rule again? I was following, but I guess I was on fasting revenue concept. Yeah. So the 80-20, so that's a Pareto principle. So Pareto principle just tells you that effort and results are not equal, they're unequal. So it's unfortunate, but that's how life is, right? I don't know if the person that asked the question is, I don't know. I think you're working already, right, Mr. Emmanuel Nkrumah, if I understand. But if you remember when you were a student, right, of all the topics, if there's a particular subject, of all the many topics you may have done, it's probably just 5 or 6 or 7 that are high yield, right? And if you study those 5 or 6 topics, you can get very high grades, right? Or get good grades, maybe not very high grades, but you can get some good grades. So the Pareto principle tells you that 20% of all our efforts, right, or 20% of your resources, your inputs, your efforts, right, would yield 80% of the results. So 20% of all the topics, so the high yield topics will give you 80% of the outcome you want. So if you have a list of goals or a list of tasks to do, right, only 20% of them are important and of value, of high value. Only 20% of them have high consequence, and they are the ones that will give you the results, whether positive or negative. They're the ones that give you the results you want. They're the ones that will give 80% of the results you see or you want. So that's it here. So it's a 80-20 rule. 80% of the consequences come from 20% of the causes, usually generally in life. That's what usually happens, right? So you need to know which task, you need to know which goals, you need to know which group of people, you need to know which topics, you need to know what things you need to concentrate your 20% efforts in, because only that small quantity of thing will give you 80% of the results you see or you need or see. And I think I tried to give some example here. So most companies know that it's only 20% of their customers that bring in the big profit or the big chunk of the profit, and they know them, and that's why they're very loyal to them. They know that, okay, it's just this employers or this workers that gives me that very dedicated, hardworking, that gives the company, that brings in the profit the company needs. Do you understand? Because we're not all the same. Do you understand? So even in our personal lives, there's some things, activities every day that if you do them, if you concentrate 20% of your efforts in doing them, they give you 80% of the happiness you desire. So efforts, results, unequal. Find out when you have your list of goals, your list of tasks, activities, find out what the top 20% are. Find out what you need to prioritize, what is of more importance, what to give you the greatest result, the greatest returns, values, the greatest happiness, and then focus on that. That should be in your do or delegate section when you put it in your matrix. Do you understand? Focus on those ones. And then the scheduling, the other matrix, the decide, you can do it later. The delete, you delete. Right. Thank you. You're welcome, Emmanuel. Right, Fortune, over to you. So like
Guys,
I said,
any more questions?
you can follow me on Instagram, Dr. Bay _ Dr. Bay _ O. Caleb is going to type it. Or LinkedIn, Maria Aluko and Maria Olaleye on YouTube. Please, if anybody else has any other contribution or any other question, because I'm also still learning, please feel free to unmute and share or put in the chat box. I think the meeting will be ending soon. Anybody thinks there's something I have not mentioned, something they do, we're all learning here. If there's something you do that helps, that I have not mentioned when it comes to time management, procrastination, we can mention. Okay.
Hello, Doc.
Yes, please. Sorry. Oh, winners. Wow, winners.
Okay, so some question.
Say that again.
I think that's from Opolu. Please forgive me if I
Yeah, I don't think it's a
she says thank you
question.
very much for
Yeah. You're welcome, Mr. Ope. Please, who are our winners? I think so. So the gifts we have, I don't know if you've chosen the winner, Fortune, but I think Akiko, Dorcas, and Nancy were very, they were very, very active. That's what I think. But I don't know if you've gotten your, if you think
yes,
otherwise.
please, I have.
Okay,
No,
so
please. If it was this were my pick too.
your pick two. Okay, so we're gonna, I think they should share their contacts with you so that we can reach out to them and send them their gifts. So the gift is going to be a free book on any. So there are a number of books on time management that I shared. So we're gonna get one of the books for the winners. Depends on what you can find in your country. If you have a preference too, you can let us know. But it depends on what we find in your country, and then we'll get it to you. So thank you so much for being very interactive, very active. Thank you, Ma. So Fortune, over to you. Do you have more to say? Okay, please share your contacts, Madam Akiko, and yes, before we end the meeting, so we can get through to you.
Yes, Ms. Nancy Osei and Madam Akiko, please share your contact details and we'll send your gift to you. Thank you so much, Dr. Luku, for the gifts.
You're
Rather
welcome.
unfortunately, we didn't have any of the guys.
So I think there was a guy that was a bit active. What was his name?
Yes, Samuel.
Yeah, and even Emmanuel too. I'm sorry, I didn't give.
Emmanuel. That should be Emmanuel Nkrumah.
Yes, Emmanuel Nkrumah was very active
Yes,
also.
please.
I don't know if I could get a third gift. Okay, I'll get a third gift for him also. Emmanuel, please add your contact details also.
Okay, congratulations to you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Akiko and Ms. Nancy. So, Emmanuel, you're waiting for your contact details as well. Great. Right, so I'll take this. All right. Thank you guys for participating in today's session. I believe that we've all had a wonderful session myself. I'm so much imparted after this session with Doc. So the session is going to be uploaded on the SP Ghana YouTube channel. So kindly check. I think within by the close of next week, it should be uploaded. So in case you want to maybe had internet issues along the line and you couldn't follow up with something, or you probably want to share it with someone else, you can have a look at the video again, or get access to it to share with whoever you want to. So Doc, thank you so much once again for today's session. We are really, really grateful for the time that you took to take us through today's session. All right. So, oh, okay, noted. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's noted, Caleb. All right. So, without any further questions, we bring today's session to a close. Please feel free to press the big red button. And
Thank you all.
it's amazing. Thank you all for joining in today.
Thank you.
Hello, James. Hello, James.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please. Could you please stop the recording?
All right, that's fine.
Thank you very much.
Meeting done, right?
Yes, please. You can end the session as well.